Alright y'all, buckle in because today's video is going to be one of the most fascinating deep dives we've ever done on this channel, and it revolves around a scenario that's got Cowboys Nation buzzing, NFL fans dreaming, and sports media losing their minds with possibilities. I'm talking about the tantalizing idea of Derrick Henry, yes, King Henry himself teaming up with the Dallas Cowboys to create what could go down as one of the most dangerous, dominant, and physically punishing backfields in the modern NFL era. Now, look, let me say right from the jump, this isn't about confirming a deal or reporting breaking news. This is about breaking down a massive hypothetical that feels closer to reality than most people would think. Imagine a world where the Dallas Cowboys, one of the league's most high-profile franchises, with one of the deepest fan bases in football, lands Derrick Henry, the most physically imposing and productive power back we've seen in the last decade. Think about the sheer chaos that would unleash on opposing defenses. Think about what it would mean for Prescott. Think about what it would do to help Mike McCarthy's offense regain its balance and take the pressure off the quarterback. Think about what that would do in the NFC playoff picture. But to understand just how impactful and potentially game-changing this move would be, you've got to look at the full picture: Derrick Henry's incredible career arc, the Cowboys' offensive history and current state of affairs, how they've handled the RB position post-sake, and why this fantasy might not be as far-fetched as it seems. First, let's talk about Derrick Henry, the man, the machine, the myth. Standing at 6'3", 245 pounds, with sprinter speed and linebacker strength, Henry isn't just a running back, he's a walking sledgehammer. He's a two-time rushing champ. He's had multiple 2,000-plus yard seasons, if you count postseason production. And more importantly, he's the guy who can take over a game in a way few players at any position can. We've seen him drag entire defenses in Tennessee, dominate playoff games, and pull off the kind of runs that go viral on every platform because no one can quite believe a man that size moves that fast and breaks that many tackles. Even as he ages into his 30s, which for running backs is typically when the wheels start to fall off, Henry has defied expectations. He's not only still productive, he's disciplined, durable, and dedicated. This is a guy who invests heavily in his body, trains like an MMA fighter, and hasn't shown significant signs of decline even with the heavy workload he's carried over the years. Now, let's look at Dallas. The Cowboys have been searching for an offensive identity ever since Ezekiel Elliott started to decline and Tony Pollard failed to fully seize the ERB1 role. They let Zeke walk, and while Pollard had some explosive flashes, he never quite became the every-down weapon they hoped for. He's now gone as well. What Dallas has left is a question mark at running back. They've got Rico Dowdle, who's serviceable but not elite. They've got some younger players with potential but no proven dominance. And here's the thing, the Cowboys' offensive line, while not quite what it was at its peak with Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick, is still solid enough to open lanes. What's missing is a back who can punish a defense for overcommitting to the pass, who can keep the chains moving, wear down a front seven, and turn third and short into guaranteed conversions. Enter Derrick Henry. Pairing Henry with this Dallas offense, which still boasts one of the better QBWR duos in the league with Prescott and CeeDee Lamb, could transform the entire complexion of how this team attacked. With Henry behind Doc, defenses would have to stack the box. That opens up single coverage for Lamb and whoever else lines up outside. It makes the play-action pass a lethal weapon again. It allows the Cowboys to control the tempo of the game, dominate time of possession, and grind down opponents in December and January when it matters most. Think about this: Henry in short yardage, Henry at the goal line, Henry in the fourth quarter, with a tired defense in front of him. The possibilities are endless. And don't forget that Derrick Henry has expressed genuine interest in playing for the Cowboys before. He's gone on record saying that Dallas would have been a perfect situation. He spends his off-seasons in the Dallas area. He has a house there. His family is there. From a lifestyle and fit perspective, this isn't some wild, unrealistic pairing. He'd literally be commuting to work from his home. The question then becomes, why hasn't it happened? Why hasn't Jerry Jones picked up the phone and at least made an offer? Why isn't this blockbuster move already in the works? And the answer, like most things in the NFL, comes down to money, scheme fit, and long-term planning. Jerry Jones has said in the past that Derrick Henry didn't fit their offensive system and that they couldn't afford him. Now, whether you believe that or not depends on how much faith you put in the Cowboys front office. Sure, Henry commands a decent-sized salary, but we're not talking quarterback money here. If you truly believe you're in a championship window, and the Cowboys should believe that with the roster they have, then investing in a player like Derrick Henry for 2 years should absolutely be on the table. It's the kind of aggressive move that championship teams make. Teams like the Rams, the Chiefs, and even the Eagles have made big splash moves to get over the top. The Cowboys? They've always hesitated. And maybe that's why they keep falling short. As for the scheme fit argument, I get it. The Cowboys run a more zone-heavy run scheme. Henry has done most of his damage in gap schemes, with lead blockers and clear lanes. He's a north-south runner, not a guy you ask to stretch and cut like a Pollard or McCaffrey. But here's the thing, great coaches adjust to great players. You don't bring in Derrick Henry and then force him into your system. You tailor your system to maximize what he does best. If Mike McCarthy can't adjust his playbook to accommodate one of the most dominant backs of this generation, then that's a coaching problem, not a player problem. Now, let's get back to the dream scenario. Henry signs with Dallas. Suddenly, you've got one of the most feared offensive duos in football. You're not asking Doc to do everything. You're not forcing CeeDee Lamb to be Superman on every drive. You've got balance. You've got power. You've got the ability to bully teams at the line of scrimmage. The mental impact that has on opponents is huge. Defensive coordinators have to change their game plans. They have to account for the fact that every single time Henry touches the ball, he could rip off a 30-yard gain or run through 3 defenders for a touchdown. And beyond the X and O's, there's a cultural impact too. Bringing in a guy like Derrick Henry sends a message to your team, your fans, and the league. It says, we're serious about winning. We're not playing it safe. We're not hoping things fall into place. We're making them fall into place. It energizes the locker room. It forces players to elevate their game. It tells every guy in that huddle that management believes in this team and is willing to invest in greatness. And can you imagine Henry running out of that tunnel in a T&T stadium, wearing the star on his helmet? That's instant electricity. That's ticket sales. That's ratings. That's legacy. Of course, nothing is guaranteed in football. Injuries happen. Plans fall apart. But when you have an opportunity to bring in a player like Derrick Henry, a future Hall of Famer still playing at a high level, and you don't even make the call, that's the kind of conservative thinking that costs you championships. And I know what some of y'all are going to say in the comments. Running backs don't matter. Henry's past his prime. Dallas needs to build through the draft. And look, I get it. There's truth to all of that. But when you have a rare opportunity to add a unicorn to your offense, a guy who's proven, durable, respected, and hungry, you don't hesitate. You find a way. You move the money around. You adjust the scheme. You make it work. Because windows close fast in the NFL. You don't always get second chances. And I guarantee you, if the Cowboys pass on Henry, and he ends up somewhere else, and they watch him run through their defense again next season, they're going to wish they'd made the call. So here's my message to Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office. You've got a golden opportunity staring you in the face. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Go get the king. Because if you do, if you land Derrick Henry and pair him with this roster, you're not just building a team, you're building a contender. A force. A unit that can punish defenses and dictate games on your terms. You're building fear. And in the NFL, that might be the most valuable weapon of all.